Hi everyone, welcome to the seventh webinar in the Network State and New Countries webinar series. I'm very glad that we are continuing this tradition and running a webinar every month already. So today's topic is super interesting and enchanting and important. It's about the infrastructure build up, and I'm very happy to have very interesting people on board who will share their experience. Sondre from the Free City of Liberstad, Tanya from Montelibero, Astrid from Vagabonds co-living community, and Zeev from Chatio Capital, and also blockchain lawyer. So basically, we have already covered a number of topics during these webinars. I mean, we started in January, like as an introduction call. In February, we did this land acquisition topic, which was very interesting. I mean, how to acquire land, because in the end of the day, people need to live somewhere on a soil in order to survive. Then in March, we covered the identities and ideologies topic. Like, I mean, in the end of the day, how people would feel that sense of belonging in this group or that group, in this community, that community. Then, if I am not mistaken, we did the fourth topic. Ophelia, maybe you could remind me, what was the fourth one?
I'll say. Just try to continue and I'll come to
Yeah, the fifth one was about the relations with the nation states. The sixth one was as a global ecosystem. I mean, the network says a new countries as a new global ecosystem. And the fourth one, we missed it still.
Power components.
Yeah, the power components. Thanks a lot, Ophelia, for helping. So basically, the power components was about, I mean, in the end of the day, how you're going to build power institutions and what actually that power should look like. I mean, central power, hierarchical power, decentralized power, horizontal power. So basically, we covered all these topics, and today we're going to talk about the infrastructure. And the speakers are people who have experience in diverse fields, and they definitely will share their thoughts and ideas and proposals as well. I mean, how we see this this challenge to be solved and overcome. Like, I mean, how to build a robust infrastructure for the network states and new countries in this capricious international climate. So basically, a couple of words, like, I mean, about my experience about the Panarmenian Network State. Orshak is here, Ophelia is here. I mean, we are already 3 years old. So basically, what we try to do, I mean, when building up the Panarmenian Network State, we initially build up departments, like, I mean, Department of Foreign Affairs, Department of Culture, Department of Environment, and then we had weekly meetings, online meetings there on Google Meet. I will remember those days. We also opened Slack chat for different departments, and also general chat, so that people could get in touch with each other. And we also tried to reach out to people via LinkedIn, WhatsApp. But in the end of the day, what I have realized so far during these 3 years, I mean, of the trajectory, I think the problem is not the technology, is not the means. I mean, like, I mean, how you, because if people truly want, they would definitely be in. I mean, whether it's Slack or whether it's, like, I mean, messaging on phone or whatever. So of course, I mean, you can make, I mean, their life easier. But the first thing for the infrastructure to work, I think the infrastructure must be backed up by an ideological infrastructure. So people need to feel that they belong to that community, to that system, to that organization, or whatever way we call it. This is my understanding, and I am not sure whether I am right or wrong, but that's what I have felt, and that's what That's what I could kind of realize during these 3 years of work. So one of the key proposals that I would have is that definitely work on something like, I mean, how to reach out to people's brains and also hearts so that they will love, I mean, to be there. This is one of the most important things. And the infrastructure that I see here to solve that, I mean, to cover that gap is like running a very aggressive, but in a positive sense, aggressive campaign of like media, art, movies, short clips. I mean, so just bombing people so that they already get used to it. This is very important because uh, many people don't even get an idea what we are talking about because they don't understand, like, I mean, what the network said. So I don't want it to be to stay as a small like a community that of course knows, I mean, the details, the nitty-gritty. I want, I mean, to kind of build a critical mass. This is an important thing for the network state movement and the new countries and network state movement to succeed, because without a critical mass, I think we will face huge problems. And the critical mass can be built if we kind of bomb, I mean, large masses, but bomb in a positive sense, like, I mean, with media materials, with movies. Why I pay much attention to the movies, because movies are kind of playing also with people's emotions in a good way. I mean, like, you kind of wake them up uh, the way so that their subconscious levels also start working. So this is a very important thing, I think. And for that, I see that we need a core team, or at least a coordinated action to kind of move this forward as a global agenda, like media and public relations um, um, team or whatever. Joshua has been working on this type of thing, and he has just started actually. And I truly hope that together we are going to kind of make it big. But still, I think we need to engage as many stakeholders as possible in order to kind of build up that infrastructure that I believe is very important. I mean, from this media and public relations bombing to like, I mean, ideological talks. I mean, closed clubs. I mean, meetings, meetups. So these are my ideas. But of course, our speakers have more to share with us. And Sondre, you will be the first. I mean, to share your thoughts and experience. Please, stage is yours.
Okay, thank you for the great introduction, and thank you for the invite. It's an honor to be here to talk a little bit about Liverstad. I also want to point out to saying, like, the building the infrastructure is not only about the physical thing, it's also about the emotional and human aspects of it, and super important. And also the thing about critical mass, though, is like I'm more like you never know what the critical mass is, so it's important to take action as well. And that's what you're going to see today, like with Liverstad and with Tanya afterwards, with Montelibro and some other projects. Like, you need to take action, even though maybe you're not critical mass yet. But, there's a lot of things you need to develop and do. So I have some slides. Maybe you can make it possible for me to share them.
Now you can share your screen.
Yeah. Okay. Documents. Is it better to share the document or just share my screen? I'll share my screen here. See my screen? Do you see it now as well when I did full screen? Okay, very good. Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about infrastructure build-up in Liberstad. And I interpreted this topic in the way that suited me and our project. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the physical infrastructure and also about technological infrastructure, which is in some ways much bigger than actually everything else. So the Free City of Liberstad was founded by John and me back in 2015, and we bought land in 2017 after doing pre-sale of recreational plots. We sold to about 125 different people from 33 different countries, which is fantastic. We've had a lot of them have come up to Liberstad and visited over the years. It's basically situated in southern Norway, so it's surrounded by the state of Norway. And Liberstad is founded on volunteerism, and that's super important for us, and it's the foundation for a lot of things, the whole concept of the Free City of Liberstad, basically. I won't go too much into it, except that we established something called the World Voluntarist Organization, which have something called the Voluntarist Covenant, which we hope more and more people will sign up to and declare. And I took some old photos here as shown before. I just want to show a little bit, but it's a lot of work to build infrastructure, physical infrastructure for people. And this is John here. This is probably 2 years into the project, and we're basically I was handing all these rocks to John, and he was laying down. This used to be his job, basically, like masonry and concrete. And here we built a deck for one of our summer bars. We have a lot of bars in Liberstad, and I think that's super important to build social arenas in these free cities where people can gather and come together and just discuss everything, because there's a lot of things to discuss. Liberstad has been going on now since 2017, as I mentioned, and I'm sort of glad that it's taken time, because there are takes a while to develop. And you need to discuss a lot of things, and you need to change yourself a lot, because most people, they grow up as statists in a state, and there's a lot of things you need to change about yourself. So there's another project. We did Ron Swanson wood shop. That is the building is complete now, and super nice. This is our smaller concert area called Granbaren. We renovated the building outside and in out and insulated everything. And a lot of questions that libertarians and caps get is who will build the roads, and that's a funny thing. So there's a lot of physical infrastructure that needs to be built for having a society or a community to work. Stuff like sewage, water, electricity, and then food and housing. And then, as I mentioned, we focused a lot on social buildings to bring people together to come there. This is one of our excavators, a 30-ton belt-driven excavator. There's Johnny there building some of the roads. And then a few years later, I bought this excavator, which is a smaller one, 16 tons. And we're using these a lot to move around dirt and stone. So this is a photo this is before we took over the property, 2014. And this is from last year. As you can see, there's been a lot of development. In the middle here, we have the Anarchy Park. There's a parking area here. So in terms of infrastructure, we're a small project in terms of people working on this. So we don't have a lot of capability to plan architecture and see ahead too much. So we're trying to do things in an organic manner. When the time is right, we do the right things. So you see some of the roads we built here. A lot of it is organic. There's a flow to it. This parking area, we want to have we don't want to have any car traffic basically in the city center here. So this is part of city center. I don't have a photo of the whole property of Liberstad, but it's 2 kilometers long, basically, stretch. So it's a pretty big property. There's another photo from last year, I think. showing the parking area here. Here people are growing some potatoes and food. This is the beginning of the camping area. You can see down in the middle there on the right side. We have people living in caravans, RVs, and buses there. And there's a lot of buildings that was already in existence there in Liberstad, but we've been renovating them and improving them. So there's a lot of things going on, and we have like sewage tanks right now for sewage, but we're planning on building a treatment facility down at the bottom of the screen here, basically to handle the sewage for the city center. Some photos of growing some food and some potatoes. There's another photos. This is basically the whole property. Like you can see, it's a long stretch, 2 kilometers going down there. So that's just a quick introduction to sort of the physical stuff that we're doing. There's a lot of things, like I don't have time to go through everything, but one of the things we did initially, we created a blockchain called CityChain. So it's a proof of stake blockchain, blockchain. And we've launched something called CityCoin on it, which we've been using a lot, and it's basically a way for us to separate from the Norwegian economy in a way. And we've had a great success with that, but like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is just a base layer of what you need. You need to have a lot more building up. And that's what I've been focusing on the last few years, is building decentralized software that we need to have on top of it. And it's not just Liberstad that needs, it's Montelibro, Liberland. Liberland is doing a lot of things on this by themselves as well. And then have other free city projects globally. Everyone is doing their own thing on their own blockchain. But there's a lot of things we need to build that is way above blockchain. And that's stuff like a property registry, for example, an identity system. People needs to, the way we organize in Liberstad is that there's no property owned by a national identity. So there's no Norwegian citizens or any other citizens of any country that owns anything in Liberstad. It is owned by free individuals that create decentralized identities, and all ownership is connected to those identities. And also all ownership of stocks in companies and whatever is all based on decentralized identities. So I just quit my job a couple of months ago to focus on this. And I was developing something called Free City Platform, and I recently rebranded it into something called Ariton. And it's basically a super app for communities that I'm working on. And I think this is going to be very valuable for a lot of projects, network state projects, both online and also free cities and other intentional communities globally. So that's there's a lot of work to develop this stuff. I've done a lot of it already, but this is sort of a new, fresh start on realizing the backbone of some of these communities around the world, basically. So please just check out this Ariton.app website if you want to learn a little bit more. I'm just getting started on this. I'm working on a prototype now, and I'm dedicating most of my time now to this project, and I think it's going to be super valuable and useful for a lot of different projects globally. So with that, I want to say thank you, and don't hesitate to send us an email if you want to, or you can go to liberstad.com to sign up as a member. If you're a member, you get access to some information about Liberstad. Most of our information is private for members only. We haven't been sharing too much publicly. So yeah, it's a good way to support the project. So with that, I want to say thank you all.
Thanks, Sondre. Thanks a lot for a very interesting presentation and an actual thing that you are building. And I would urge people who are here and who will, of course, watch the recording later. I mean, those who are around, who are close to Norway, to go and help you with volunteers. I mean, with the construction thing, because that is the actual thing. You know, you are building an actual thing, and this is very appreciated, of course. And this is what I'm trying to always say, that the coordinated action, so that we kind of actually build something, not something, but some things in all parts of the world. So thanks a lot, and people definitely will have questions after the speakers. So the second speaker after Sondre is Tanya from Montelibero. Tanya, welcome, and please share your experience.
Hello. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak at this event. Great that you are getting people together with some interesting projects around the world. So for those who haven't heard what Montelibro is, we are a libertarian community based primarily in Montenegro. We are a DAO DeFi community and one of the most successful in the world using our tokenomics in lots of areas in the community. And I just want to share with you the infrastructure that Montelibro uses, and also what new features came in lately that help us structure the community better and involve the members to participate. Because as we are a decentralized community, it is a little bit more difficult to bring people into one place. All right, so I will share my desktop now. Let me see. Yeah, can you see now? Great. All right, so just quickly in numbers, we invested almost, the fund of Montelibro, the first fund of Montelibro invested almost 2 million euros in Montenegro. We actually have now more than 100 members, participants of association. Social media, we have more than 3,000 participants in social media and hundreds of activists residing in Montenegro. So for us, it is all about the synergy of online and offline. We find that it works best when people can participate at different levels, because somebody lives in Montenegro, somebody doesn't live in Montenegro, but there are still ways for people to participate. And then maybe at some point where they feel involved, they would make that step and actually move and join Montelibro physically in Montenegro. So that synergy is all about, we use actively Telegram. So we have lots of different chats on lots of different topics. For example, we have an alarm chat if something happens and you need to notify the members or get some help. Alarm chat, or we have medical chat where you can ask for some advice, especially for foreigners getting something in Montenegro where they maybe have some different medicines that would be quite useful. So basically we have more than 150 chats on different topics. It was as a decentralized community, it was a little bit chaotic and difficult to manage and make decisions. So Montelibro came up with the plan to try to make the association where it will be easier to make some important decisions together. Also, as you know, we have the first Montelibro fund, and here you can see the MTL fund balance structure. It is they send out the reports every month, what the fund invests in, and then obviously you can buy MTL tokens to support the fund and also get the dividends out of your investment. We have the Montelibro Club, a first Montelibro Club, and actually we have now kind of a second Montelibro Club, an alternative in Bar, where people get together. We invite interesting speakers, we invite guests, we have some activities like watching a film, discussing it, having our meetings, learning the Serbian language to integrate better into local community. On top of that, we also arrange lunches and breakfasts almost weekly in Bar, where people can come and join, and sometimes in Podgorica and Budva. So those are the members of the community who come to the place, and then people can come join and discuss the project with them. And then, as you probably have heard, we are building Montelibro City. not too far from Bar, and it is a bit more than 1 hectare of land, and you can see here in the photo. And I can also show you a video, the latest video from Montelibero city, so you get an idea of how it looks now. Also, I must say that this is the fund that is the biggest investor in MTL City, but then they sold smaller plots to people, the libertarians, who are welcome to do anything they want on their plots. There is a big construction company called Pakinopolis, who's doing majority of work. They acquired some part of land and doing their own projects there, like, for example, a spa area with an outdoor pool. But also they are providing the services to the fund and other residents if they want to create infrastructure on their plots. Let me just quickly show you the video, if you can see the video now. All right. So on top of, so we have more tools that we actually added in order to manage our growing community. On association that I've already mentioned, we also have MTL court. So actually, we already had 4 court cases where people can come and you know, they pay some fee, and then they receive the proper court judgment by Montelibero court. Actually, we are lucky enough to have a few members in our community who have actually been in public court system in Russia, which is very beneficial. We also have a tool like Mabis, where people can come and register their business ideas and get funding from the fund, or through the members of the community bypassing the fund, so investing directly into it. This is a great tool as well. This is a website where, you know, people can register their ideas, ask for investment, and then also find the people who would be happy to join and help them create and make their business idea happen. And I would say the big part of what we are doing and how we are achieving success is having the optimal blockchain tools. Lots of things in Montelibero are done and voted via multi-signature, and this has recommended itself as a very good tool because it is very efficient, effective. You have all the records in blockchain, and also it is quite a transparent process for the people to follow. Yes, so we also make sure that we give access to people to use the infrastructure, to use the tokenomics tools themselves. So we actually encourage people to create their own tokens, and they can do it for different purposes. But now actually the way association works is that they ask people to create, they actually help people to create their own tokens, and we are contributing a certain amount of our tokens, which people can buy and order our services, or you basically can do volunteer work for Montelibero, and then just get those tokens back to you. So that was created in order to encourage people to contribute more to the project.
Tanya, sorry for interrupting. Please sum up. Yeah, because we're running out of time. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Here is the way to connect with us. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Tanya. Yeah, I know Montelibero very well, and I can say definitely it is one of the most advanced communities that that is around, definitely, and I am also within it. Of course, I'm not in Montenegro, and I know also Anton Yechin, the guy who is one of the masterminds of it. Yeah. So basically, yeah, thanks a lot. And the next speaker is Astrid from Spain. Let's go to Spain now. Astrid, stage is yours. Tanya, could you please, yeah, okay, perfect. I just wanted to talk about the screen. Astrid, stage is yours, please.
Thanks so much. For, sorry for the delay. I wanted to, pretty sure that I wanted to listen to all the speakers before. I'm here because I am part of the, one of the co-founders of Vagabonds community. Is how the other guys here, the mates Vahram, other guys, Ilya, I saw Ilya here as well. They know me because I was the founder of, one of the founders of Vagabonds community. I want to share here in the chat our GitHub, because this, I don't want to spend so much about Vagabonds, because you can find anything in this amazing platform that is sharing all the things, and you can see, you're gonna see here all what we did in the past and what's the call to action and how is our insight about the community and everything. So I think it's time to talk about what it means network state for me and network state for Vagabonds, because I'm not the leader. I don't want to be the leader. I don't want to be the follower. I don't follow anything in specific, but I wanted to connect with people. I want to connect with these amazing guys doing a lot of stuff up there, building things. So that's my, sorry, just a moment. Okay, sorry for interruption. Yes, I wanted to mention about a call for rethink about what is going on with network state and how everything started. And it started almost before the internet started. I want to get back to you guys and to travel a bit about on time, how everything started and how we are now connected now, internet. Okay, and it's not only about internet, about all the about the intention about the internet to be connected. And I think that we forgot that. We forgot about what it means to be connected, not just about knowing communities, about knowing the colleagues, the mates that we share the same principles, we share the same values. It's fine. We can also listen different opinions and also and to think about it, no? Because so I mean, I want to talk about agorism. What it means, agora? It means the place, the public space, the place where everyone can go and talk and share and everything. So agorism is one of the principles that I'm personally I'm into. And I think it's really important to understand how to connect with the other communities and create a network. Because network state is about communities. We are not talking about state. I'm not a state. I'm not, and I don't want to be a state, to be honest. I don't want to be a leader. But yes, for sure, I want to connect. And this share knowledge that we have, everyone, we need something just to put it there. We need a basket. We need a place, a marketplace to go there and to say, hey, we have this, I'm building this, let's share it. So what it means, let's share it? Let's share it would means free software, open source. My tools has to embrace the needs of the people, but not just only. It's like a think local. No, sorry, act local and think globally. No, so that's the main purpose of any kind of tool that we can use with the counter economics, with this disobedience. Sorry, disobedience about the states. Okay, so the communities need that, need to build, need tools, and these tools has to be shared. Who are going to do these tools? The builders. Who are the builders? Software engineers, the people in crypto are doing a lot of things. We are, as the Vagabonds, we have the connection of many crypto communities doing free, open, and alternative platforms for chatting, for exchange. We are doing a lot of things on AI just to provide these tools to the people. And this is the way that we can connect. Also, for sure, the values about the thing, the emotions, really important emotions. And we can combine everything in this place, in this agora, and share that with other communities. It's just an example of my own experience when I was 20 years old or something. When luckily it was the first time that I had a computer in my house. I say, okay, so it's really, I'm 20 years old, I'm old for this kind of thing. So, but there were other guys that they took advantage, but they were more privileged because they had the internet before, no? Because they have other economic advantage. And I went to Argentina, where I came from, and I saw the guys were already connected with the internet everywhere in a public spaces. And I think the guys on that time were really developed, Argentinian, Brazilian people. So there are many in many ways we are looking the network state or all the sphere from this part of the world. And sometimes the guys are really smart. They are doing a lot of stuff, and we are pretending to be the first network state or the first thing or the first. So I think we have to be a little bit more humble and accept that there are other people working and doing stuff. And that's the time that for them it could be interesting just to say, hey guys, you started before, so let's take a look there and see if I can convince some investors to go there, not to just to go, to invest on that, because that's the point about network state. And the idea of how to feed the needs of every community is also part of the network state. When I decided to go out of community, and I explained to the other people to say, okay, I'm going to go to this community, after I'm going to go to other community, and this community where I come, I'm actually there. And they told me, oh, but that's it. You need to learn this because it's going to be needed for the next community you are going to arrive. This is the shared knowledge that I'm talking about. It could be GitHub, it could be other kind of platforms, a platform that we can create ourselves. So yeah, that's my message today, just to say that we have all the tools, and let's share the knowledge. Take into the builders. Talk about the builders and ask about what they want, what they need. And thanks so much for the opportunity, Vahram.
Thanks a lot, Astrid, for very interesting, experience sharing and very interesting spiritual injection, actually, into the meeting. Thanks a lot, and very interesting and appreciated a lot. And we are now going to the other side of the Atlantic. And Zeev, stage is yours, please. Share your experience and your thoughts.
Yeah, so I'm Zeev. Nice to meet you. I know I've met a couple of people here, so I'm really just, I don't have a slide deck. I do have a project that I'm working on, so it's embarrassing not to have a slide deck yet, but it's going to take some time. I'm more of a researcher, so I research the hell out of things, and I've been reading about charter cities for well over 12 years, and things are happening, right? Like Tanya, I was looking at your project, and you have the Free Foundation Cities guy in Europe. That foundation is amazing. Like 8 years ago, you have in New York, you have Mark Lutter with the Charter City Institute, which is sort of very academic, and he's got like over 60 podcasts where he interviews guys for years. So there's so much information out there about people trying new projects for a long time. And what I find, because now there's like crypto and the network state, and there's this convergence, there's so much going on. And there's two basic principles. And I look at Liberstad, and I'm not actually sure, Sondre, where it is exactly, but like location is so important, because any new real estate development, the transportation to nearby cities is going to determine a lot of the accessibility. So, there's so many projects, and there Prospera is a big project. MTL, I didn't really know much about it until recently. And that's like, really, there's a lot of people, when you look at the different projects out there that are even incorporating crypto, but then you compare them to conventional projects, like look at, like America is very spread out. So it's, very different than Europe. But there's a lot of new real estate development projects in America constantly that are self-contained. And some of them are more on the creative side. Some of them are more just vanilla copycat. The big thing in America is there's a lot of old people. So you have a lot of retirement communities that are planned communities. The economics are very simple, and people stay put. So they can be a little farther away a lot of the time. But so on one hand, you have transportation, because people go back and forth. And then the other hand, the other big thing for charter cities is the innate economics. So everyone's talking in crypto now about nomad cities, and I may even go to a pop-up village. That's the big thing for the last 2 years. I'm thinking about going to Chiang Mai. But the reality of all of these settlements, no matter how temporary or permanent, is where's the income stream coming from? The temporary settlements, it's essentially tourism. That's really what it is. And if there's some back end where someone is making money off of, intellectual property, because there's a lot of talent and there's maybe hackathons and something is built, that's great. But people can build stuff not in resorts for 8 weeks or 12 weeks. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, the developers, they can just as well live in Liberstad or in MTL or really anywhere, right? Sometimes they're just living and they're digital nomads in some city. So on one hand, the intuition is to bring things circular, right? Like, why go to Chiang Mai and pay someone in an Airbnb or some hotel when that real estate money can just as well go? There's this inherent tension. People are moving around a lot, but it's like musical chairs. So where to build? And it seems like whether it's like Argentina or MTL or Liberstad, there's going to be a collective of semi-permanent or just totally permanent places. And, and of course with Loci, like there'll be places where people go, and instead of the money going out, it stays in circularly. And that's one of the principles, I think, that's driving this, whether it's developers and talent, people building crypto projects, people building other types of projects that are not physical projects. If you're working in Liberstad on, let's say, wood, you're a woodworker, right? You're building something physical that has to be transported, right? These are very different economic models. Moving information means all you need, obviously, is an internet connection. But if you have something physical that you're moving, you need actual real transportation. And of course, in any meaningful system, you need both, right? You need both, right? And there's so many new possibilities, right? Especially, now you have like, Elon Musk with his Starlink. So now you can actually open up new real estate possibilities. You don't need a flying car, but you do need an internet connection, and that can now be made accessible anywhere. That's one big thing. That's changing things. So this isn't science fiction yet. My personal project, I'm more interested in something that's a little bit more leading edge, more science fiction, and it's not so decentralized. You can use Bitcoin, you can use anything, but I'm interested in growing a bit, basically something that's a small test case city. You could say a few thousand people, and growing it to 30,000, 40,000 people, because I'm from Manhattan. I'm really from I'm from the middle of the city. I've lived very close to Times Square. My fascination is hyperdensity. Like I've never been to Hong Kong, but I've studied it a lot. I've talked to people. I will go, but I've studied a lot of projects and a lot of startup cities, and there is a very interesting history of corporate cities that are bigger and have an economic model often that is, it has to be somewhat industrial scale, right? So it's a very different thing than what people are talking about, I think, now in crypto, because it's not so realistic. So I'm reluctant to go into it, but I'm building the website. Maybe I'll have something for everybody here to show you, at least to entertain you. That would be a nice goal. But I just want to say that I'm very impressed. Norway with Liberstad, it's super impressive. But my questions for Liberstad and also for MTL are, what's the basic in terms of economics? People buy in, but what's keeping them there in terms of average person? Like, what's their business? Are they a developer and this is just a place for them to live? Because they could potentially choose other places, or is their family there? Do they have education and that's like they need a rooted place? Like what is the vibe of what's keeping people in a place?
Thanks a lot, Zeev. Thanks a lot for sharing your experience, and I think we are going to hear from your projects very, very soon. Okay, so basically, as we are done with the speaking session, now we are jumping to the questions and answers session. And since Zeev already posited the first question, I would like Sondre and Tanya actually answer to it, to the question, and then we'll jump to the next question. And please, when asking a question, please raise your hands and then speak. Thank you. Sondre, you or Tanya, you can start.
Yeah, thank you very much. What keeps people in? Well, as you mentioned, it is important that there are different kind of opportunities for people, that it's not just around kind of tourism and where you live. And for that, we have actually that Mabis platform for investing into different businesses and to business ideas. And we have the fund where you buy the tokens and you actually get dividends paid, and they tell you that they invest in something really feasible like Bitcoin, gold, land in Montenegro, businesses in Montenegro. So those are actually things that are bringing you income. I think we are also in quite a favorable position in a way that the war started and lots of people started moving, and they found themselves in a situation where they are disconnected from their friends, from their families, and they had to form those connections quite quickly. That's where Montelibro actually really succeeded, because we already provided all that. In more than that, we were actually providing the clear guide for people to relocate, temporary homes if they need it. So we actually really helped during this difficult transition time. And now what keeps people together, really, members of the community are very active people. They are not expecting anything provided by the government, and Montenegro actually has quite weak government anyway. There are lots of things set up by our members, like groups where our children get together and make handmade toys. We celebrate birthdays of kids together. We have interesting conversations. We support each other in terms of business ideas. So I think it actually found itself somewhere where it does complete so many different aspects of people's needs. And that's where it is actually succeeding.
Hello, Tanya. Sondre, maybe you can share also the experience you have.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that I think like people moving there and and ending up staying there, are not really libertarians or ANCAPs to begin with. They're just people who are willing to try something new, or they're tired of the city life and dealing with other things. So that's the people that have been living there the most. Is they don't come from a background about reading Ludwig von Mises or Rothbard or anything like that. There's more like they're moving up there and they fall in love with the nature. They fall in love with the people there, and it's so easygoing. And if we're everyone living in Liberstad, we're like truly feeling free and feeling freedom all the time. Right? We're doing whatever we want. There's no surveillance. There's no government there. You can do whatever you want, and we're feeling completely free. And that's I think that's something that keeps people there. It's like this constant feeling of freedom. That's what people are seeking for. Yeah.
Thanks, Sondre. John, you have a question, please.
Sorry. Yeah. Yes. My question is to Tanya. So I gather from I listened to Sondre talk a bit about Liberstad, and the architecture is incredibly impressive. But one thing he mentioned is that there was a bit of tension with the Norwegian authorities. What's the situation with Montenegro? What's the relationship between Montenegro and Montenegro? I mean, does Montenegro have cryptocurrency laws or regulations that say that all the finance stuff is legal, or and is the building legal, or is it just Montenegro is a weak government and there's just a lot of non-clarity, but it doesn't look like they're going to enforce anything? Or what's the relationship with it, both in the finance sense and in the property development sense, with the broader authorities?
Thank you for the question. And that's actually one of the reasons why we chose Montenegro as a country to start our community. The government here is very, very weak. And so first of all, they don't really interfere too much in people's lives. And lots of things are allowed, just like the libertarians love. For example, you can have the gun at home. By using crypto and our own tokenomics, we are not breaking any law. So this is legalized in Montenegro. Same with the property, the town we are building. We are actually working within the rules of the government and how it is done in the country. If Montenegro becomes part of European Union, maybe some things will change. But again, our community also started with the idea that if there is anything really crazy going in the world, we would be ready to go into seasteading. And that's why actually Bar and Montenegro were chosen as well, because we actually have access to water. And actually the port in Bar is the biggest in Montenegro, and it is actually a free economic zone as well.
Okay, so the other question I would have is what's immigrating into Montenegro like? I mean, I'm an Irish citizen, for example. How easy would it be for me to immigrate to Montenegro and have the right to stay there?
Irish, yeah, Irish.
Yeah, Irish.
It's very, very easy. There are different schemes you can use. So if you've got a remote job, you can just apply for a digital nomad visa. So first, to start with, you can come as a tourist without any visa, and you can stay 90 days out of 180 legally, no problem. You don't need anything, just your passport. But then you can get nomad visa, which is issued for 2 years. It is not taxed, so you become a resident, but your tax is 0 from your income in Montenegro. It is for 2 years, and you can extend it for another 2 years. Another way to get your residence here is to buy a property of any value. You will get residence card, or you can actually register a company and you will get residence as well.
Oh, wow. So you literally just buy a house and
Yes.
You're a resident, and it doesn't matter where you come from.
Doesn't matter.
That is fascinating. That's fascinating. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, good. They are getting talents, new people into their land. And any other questions, please? Any other question? Who has questions? More questions? I do not see the entire screen now. Now I can see. Joshua, you please go ahead.
I'll ask a question if I may.
Okay, Arshak, you and then Joshua. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, Joshua. Yeah, this is, first of all, thank you very much for all the speakers. Very, very interesting topics. And this is great to hear about these projects. My question probably to all of you guys, all the speakers, especially with already established communities. So, because, well, I'll tell you where I'm coming from with this question. We have a similar idea here in the States, in the state of Vermont. So we, as individuals, not as a community, but as individuals, acquires a piece of land, and we are started developing some, I don't know, living space there. Let's call it that. But would be really, really glad to have similar communities like yours. And yeah, it also, I mean, it needs further investigation and more details. But questions to you guys, how you see the interaction or connections between communities like yours around the world?
Very interesting question. Yeah, go ahead, Sondre, Tanya.
Sondre, do you want to say?
Yeah. Go ahead, Tanya. Yeah, you can.
Well, I think it really helps that actually we get lots of attention towards our community, and we always get invites into Network State chat, into country founders, into Free Cities Foundation. They came to us to interview us, and we attended Liberty in Our Lifetime conference last year. So I think it's once you're out there, once you're not just hiding somewhere in the forest, people actually try to connect with you, because really stronger we are, together we are much stronger. So, and our idea is that we want to integrate our tokenomics as much as possible with other communities, to invest into different communities, just because it really makes it much more efficient to fight with the state if it comes to you, you know? And that's for us is actually a big focus.
Sondre, maybe you can share something with this.
The one thing I want to mention is, like, I've visited Montenegro multiple times now the last year, and I became a Free Cities ambassador after the conference last year. So I'm sort of trying as good as I can to sort of integrate the different projects, because there's not a lot of things going on already. But what was mentioned earlier about the importance about getting the circular economy between each of these projects. I also went to the pop-up city in Istanbul last year, and so I want to try to get these communities to work better together with those people that are already there. So I also plan on traveling to Honduras to stay at Prospera and Morazan perhaps for a couple of weeks, and hopefully I can also attend Liberland. There's a conference up there in the beginning of September, I think. So I think that's super important.
It's Anarchapulco.
Yeah. Libertapulco or something, yeah. So it's so important to try to get all these projects to work together better. And I think I want to spend a lot of time working on this.
Thanks a lot, Sondre. Since we are running out of time, just the last question, Joshua, because you were the first. Just the last question, and let's close the session, because it's already 1 hour that we are talking, and it's very interesting, and I don't want to put a halt to this discussion, but yeah, we are running out of time, and especially in Armenia now it is midnight. So yeah, okay, Joshua.
I don't even know if I have to ask too much. It was pretty much similar to Arshak, was really the integration point and thinking about how the projects are actually connecting and integrating in economics and citizenship platforms to really support the liquidity of people moving through there. So I think you got the answer right there. The integration, the coordination between everybody is very important here. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Joshua. Fabo and Zeev, if you have comments, not questions, just comments, just because you raised your hand, just short comments, please comment it, and then we finish the session. Okay, Zeev, okay, perfect.
For keep building and to get the worry of call it this, regenerate the environments that you are building on, and it's pretty important. Not just be sustainable, but regenerate. Thank you very much. Keep going.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, perfect. Thanks, everyone. This was a very interesting session, and we also have questions in the chat. Actually, we couldn't, manage to answer those, but I think we will definitely get back to these questions, and we are going to continue those webinars and those meetings, because this is very important to kind of bring this current and gain a momentum, in international arena, so that outsiders, if we call it that way, it's a bit of a rude comment, but in political language it works. Outsiders can also learn about, those things, and because there are a lot of people who would definitely like, to be inside these discussions and to be inside these type of projects, but they don't know or do not have an access to. So I think one of our goals must be this raising awareness campaign about the network states, the international communities, free cities, and all these projects. So thanks a lot, everyone. This was a very interesting discussion session. Thanks especially to the speakers, but also to participants who posited very interesting questions. And let's keep in touch, and the recording will be shared with you all, and it will be posted on our website with a press release, so that others who couldn't make it, they will also be able to watch it, and then we can continue the discussion afterwards. Thanks, everyone, and see you soon.